What was expected to be a routine yet exciting day at the French Open suddenly transformed into one of the tournament's most widely discussed and controversial moments. The atmosphere around the venue was electric, with fans pouring into the grounds, cameras capturing every angle, and anticipation building as spectators prepared to watch rising tennis sensation Eala take the court. However, while attention was focused on the upcoming action inside the stadium, an unexpected problem was quietly unfolding outside the gates. As entry began, dozens of fans who had arrived early discovered they were unable to gain access to the venue. Initially, many assumed the delay was temporary, perhaps the result of standard security procedures or a minor issue with the ticketing system. But as the minutes stretched on, uncertainty quickly turned into confusion. Reports from those waiting varied, with some claiming they had been told entry was temporarily restricted due to security measures or capacity limitations, while others insisted their valid tickets were repeatedly failing to scan despite being purchased legitimately. As more spectators arrived and joined the growing crowd near the entrances, the situation became increasingly chaotic, with frustrated fans desperately seeking explanations that never seemed to come. What made the incident even more upsetting was the fact that many of those affected had specifically traveled to watch Eala compete. Some supporters had journeyed from far away, secured their tickets weeks in advance, and organized their entire day around the opportunity to see her play. Instead of finding themselves inside the stadium cheering from the stands, they remained stranded outside, forced to watch the excitement from a distance they never imagined. The emotional response was immediate and powerful as disappointment, frustration, and confusion spread rapidly through the crowd. Some supporters attempted to speak directly with security personnel in search of answers, while others stood quietly clutching their tickets, struggling to understand how they could be denied entry to one of the most prestigious events in world tennis. Before long, photos and videos documenting the scene began circulating across social media platforms, attracting attention from tennis fans around the globe and fueling intense discussion. As the images spread, questions quickly followed. Was the problem caused by a ticketing system failure? Had the venue reached capacity? Or was there a larger organizational issue unfolding behind the scenes? As speculation intensified, public attention soon shifted toward Eala herself, with many wondering whether she would respond to an incident that was rapidly becoming one of the French Open's biggest talking points. Outside the venue, the atmosphere continued to worsen as confusion evolved into genuine frustration. What should have been a day celebrating world-class tennis instead became a deeply disappointing experience for many loyal supporters. Long lines remained frozen at the entrance gates as fans repeatedly checked their tickets, refreshed match schedules on their phones, and held on to hope that the issue would eventually be resolved, all while the tournament carried on without them. As more time passed, it became painfully obvious that many of the fans gathered outside the gates would never make it into the stadium at all. For numerous spectators, the disappointment ran far deeper than missing a few games of tennis. Some had traveled from distant cities, while others had journeyed from different countries altogether, making significant investments in tickets, transportation, hotels, and travel arrangements simply for the chance to witness the match in person. For them, this was not just another sporting event, but a long-awaited experience they had anticipated for weeks, and seeing that opportunity slip away made the situation even more devastating. The emotional impact was impossible to ignore. While some fans stood silently outside the venue, staring in disbelief at the reality unfolding before them, others openly expressed their frustration, questioning how such a situation could happen at a Grand Slam tournament renowned for its world-class organization and reputation. Efforts to obtain clear answers reportedly led only to confusion, with spectators receiving inconsistent explanations from different staff members, further deepening the uncertainty surrounding the incident. Meanwhile, inside the stadium, play continued as scheduled, creating a striking and almost symbolic contrast between the excitement enjoyed by those fortunate enough to be seated inside and the disappointment experienced by those left standing just beyond the gates. That contrast quickly became one of the defining images of the day, fans cheering, celebrating, and enjoying world-class tennis from their seats while others remained locked out only meters away. As awareness of the situation spread, Social media platforms were flooded with photos, videos, and first-hand accounts, transforming what initially appeared to be a simple entry issue into a major controversy that captured the attention of tennis fans across the globe. As news of the French Open entry dispute continued circulating online, tennis communities, sports commentators, and major media pages began examining the incident more closely. Many voiced sympathy for the affected spectators and questioned how access problems of this scale could occur at one of the most prestigious tournaments in the sport. The phrase "fans denied entry" rapidly gained momentum across social media discussions, and what began as a localized problem outside the venue soon evolved into an international talking point. As reactions intensified and debate continued to grow, attention gradually shifted toward the person many of those supporters had come to see, Eala. The conversation was no longer focused solely on ticket scanners, security procedures, or gate access. Fans around the world were now waiting to see whether Alex herself would address the controversy. With her name trending across social media and videos of disappointed spectators continuing to spread, anticipation surrounding her response continued to build. In situations like this, silence often fuels speculation, so when Alex finally chose to speak, her remarks immediately drew significant attention throughout the tennis world. Rather than delivering a dramatic or confrontational response, she approached the matter with calmness, empathy, and professionalism. She acknowledged the concerns being raised by supporters and made it clear that she was aware of the frustration experienced by those affected. What resonated most with fans was the genuine respect she showed toward the people who follow her career and support her journey. Alex expressed disappointment that some spectators had been unable to enter the venue and emphasized how much their presence means to her during tournaments. For a young athlete still building her place on the international stage, many viewed her reaction as a reflection of remarkable maturity and character. Her comments demonstrated that she understands tennis is about far more than what happens between the lines of a court. It is also about the connection between players and the fans who invest their time, energy, and passion into supporting them. During her remarks, she reportedly highlighted the importance of crowd support and the energy spectators bring to matches, particularly during high-pressure events such as the French Open, where every voice in the stands can make a difference. The idea that devoted supporters had traveled great distances specifically to watch her compete, only to find themselves unable to enter the venue, clearly weighed heavily on Eala. Many fans praised her response, describing it as thoughtful, sincere, and remarkably grounded. Rather than assigning blame or adding fuel to an already heated controversy, she chose to focus on the disappointment and emotional impact experienced by those affected. That approach helped calm some of the growing tension online, even as larger questions surrounding tournament operations, ticketing procedures, and crowd management continued to generate debate. At the same time, her comments brought even greater attention to the issue. Supporters began sharing her statements alongside photos and videos of fans gathered outside the stadium, transforming the incident into a broader conversation about fairness, accessibility, and the overall experience of spectators attending major sporting events. For Alex, the situation evolved into something far bigger than a tennis match. It became a test of leadership, communication, and how an athlete handles unexpected controversy connected to an event in which they are participating. As her remarks spread across social media platforms, it became increasingly apparent that this was no longer simply a match day inconvenience. The story had grown into a powerful combination of fan emotion, the pressures of elite competition, and the intense global attention surrounding her rapidly rising career. As the controversy continued gaining momentum, the discussion expanded beyond the experiences of the affected spectators and began raising broader concerns about tournament standards, event planning, and organizational accountability. What started as an issue at the entrance gates was quickly developing into a reputational challenge for one of the most prestigious stages in professional tennis. The conversation eventually reached wider circles throughout the sport, with increasing attention focused on how major tournaments manage crowd control, ticket verification, and fan access. Although there was no immediate public confirmation of disciplinary measures or any formal ruling regarding the incident, The widespread attention placed additional scrutiny on everyone involved, from event organizers and venue administrators to security personnel responsible for managing access to the grounds. At Grand Slam events such as the French Open, the spectator experience is considered an essential part of the tournament itself, and any disruption affecting large numbers of fans inevitably attracts significant public attention. As a result, the controversy continued fueling discussions about responsibility, communication, and the obligations organizers have when unexpected problems affect people who invest substantial time, money, and effort to attend the sport's most important events. Major tournaments like the French Open represent far more than the athletes competing on court. They are built around the complete experience shared by players, fans, organizers, broadcasters, and the global tennis community. When that experience breaks down for even a portion of those involved, the impact can extend well beyond a single day, shaping public perception and sparking conversations that continue long after the final point has been played. Major tournaments are not judged solely by the quality of the competition on the court. They are equally responsible for providing a smooth, fair, and memorable experience for the thousands of spectators who dedicate their time, money, and enthusiasm to attend. When reports emerge that fans holding valid tickets were unable to gain entry, it naturally raises serious concerns about operational planning, crowd control procedures, communication systems, and overall event management. As videos and social media posts documenting the situation continued spreading online, tennis analysts and commentators began offering various theories about what may have caused the disruption. Some described it as a possible logistical breakdown involving capacity miscalculations, ticket scanning failures, or last-minute security measures, while others suggested the problem may have resulted from poor coordination between ticketing providers and on-site staff. Although the exact cause remained uncertain, one reality was impossible to ignore. The overwhelming public response was defined by confusion, frustration, and disappointment. Social media quickly became divided, with some fans defending the tournament by pointing out that large-scale sporting events occasionally face unexpected technical or operational challenges, while others argued that a Grand Slam event should never reach a point where paying spectators are left outside without clear explanations or timely updates. As the debate intensified, attention increasingly shifted toward accountability. Even without official statements identifying responsibility, pressure continued mounting on organizers to explain what had happened and demonstrate how similar situations could be prevented in the future. Eala's connection to the story added an additional layer of emotion and visibility. Although she had absolutely no involvement in the operational problems, many of the spectators affected by the entry issues had purchased tickets specifically to watch her compete. That connection amplified the emotional weight of the incident and unexpectedly placed her name at the center of a discussion that extended far beyond tennis itself. It created a unique scenario in which tournament organizers faced scrutiny over logistics and crowd management, while a rapidly rising star found herself associated with a controversy completely outside her control. Situations like this often place athletes in difficult positions, where public attention shifts away from their performances and toward external events unfolding around them. Within tennis circles, the discussion soon expanded beyond the French Open and evolved into a broader conversation about the future of spectator experiences in professional tennis, including whether current ticketing systems can adequately handle growing global demand and how major tournaments can better manage crowds during highly anticipated matches. Social media played a central role in accelerating the controversy, as short clips of disappointed fans gathered outside the gates were repeatedly shared across platforms, often accompanied by emotional captions and passionate debates. This created a powerful cycle of visibility in which every reaction generated more attention, and every new post increased pressure on officials to respond. Industry observers noted that incidents of this nature, even when relatively uncommon, can leave lasting marks on a tournament's reputation because Grand Slam events depend heavily on public trust, sponsor confidence, and meaningful fan engagement. Any disruption involving denied entry has the potential to become a major headline if it is not addressed through transparency and effective communication. Behind the scenes, many assumed discussions were taking place among tournament officials and governing bodies as they evaluated the situation. Although no public confirmation emerged regarding reviews or investigations, the scale of the online reaction suggested that the matter was far too significant to ignore. In today's digital era, controversies surrounding major sporting events can spread around the world within hours, and prolonged silence often encourages even greater speculation. For Eala, the episode highlighted one of the more challenging realities of modern sports. Even when athletes have no involvement in a controversy, their names can become deeply intertwined with the story simply because of the passion and dedication of the people who support them. Events occurring far from the baseline can influence public perception just as powerfully as performances on the court. While Alex remained focused on competing, her name continued appearing throughout discussions surrounding the controversy, demonstrating how closely athletes have become connected to the overall fan experience. As public attention continued growing, it became increasingly clear that this was no longer simply a one-day misunderstanding at a stadium entrance. The incident had evolved into a larger conversation about organization, accountability, communication, and the standards expected at the highest levels of professional tennis. As the story settled into the wider tennis landscape, attention gradually shifted away from the immediate confusion at the French Open gates and towards something more enduring: the effect the situation had on Eala's rapidly growing career and expanding international following. While she played no role in the operational issues, the fact that her name became linked to the incident reflected an important reality of modern sports. Once an athlete begins attracting worldwide attention, even events occurring around them can become part of their public narrative. For Alex, the situation served as another indication of her growing prominence on the global stage. She was no longer viewed simply as a talented young prospect. She was increasingly becoming a player capable of generating headlines, inspiring passionate discussion, and attracting emotional investment from fans across the world. The fact that so many spectators attended the tournament specifically hoping to watch her compete and later expressed disappointment